Aloha from the state that you're in. Uh, Here at the Flat Tire Podcast, we have David Dunn as Chris
I don't know who that is.
and Elijah Price, aka Mr. Glass, Cason, and
I also don't know who
me,
that is.
Dennis, Patricia, Hedwig, and the Beast.
Explain, please.
You've never seen the movie Unbreakable with Mr. Glass
No, I saw the one movie with
and Split,
yeah, that movie was.
and then the movie Glass.
I saw Split. Split was terrible.
I was told Cason was hurt, so I named him Mr. Glass.
I also wheeled myself around now that I actually know who we're talking about.
Why am I David Dunn? I don't
I,
like
I figured to fit the narrative.
for soccer.
And no, he was in a train accident and he never broke a bone. In the movie Unbreakable, there was a train crash. He's the only one that lived. Then somehow he ends up at Mr. Glass's comic book store and he's like in a wheelchair.
Uh, all right,
Watch the movie. And Split is just a head case, which is probably how I fit in.
all right. Um, oh, all right. Uh, thank you, Joe.
Oh, thanks, man. I really worked hard on that one.
Well, we're gonna kind of have a shorter pod today than usual. But we're gonna lead this off with Joe's IndyCar update.
Oh, there was an IndyCar race at Thermal Club. I think that's the name of the track. I only threw this in here because it was very boring. Fox lost coverage on it, and they had to go to the race that NASCAR was doing for a while in Miami, only for them to cut back to like I think it was like 30 laps to go, and Alex Palou won the race again. I,
Nice.
and this is what happens when you take like a month off in between races, which they're going to do again.
Sounds like
Sounds-
Arca.
Yeah.
I just put it on there just a dog pile of Fox just for you, Chris.
Thank you, thank you. All right. Oh, by the way, we're not gonna have a call-in segment tonight, so we
Could
could
we
have
ban that?
no, just for time's sake.
Well, Derby
Good
tried
job,
calling
Bill.
during the race.
Yeah, I was like, "Derby, gonna call in?" He was like, "Hello."
He called a little early.
Um, so on to the truck race today or Friday night. Um, just to give my quick thoughts on it. That was probably the best race of the weekend in terms of honestly just the best race of the weekend. Hocevar had a super fast short run truck, and Carson,
What?
sorry, Ross Chastain. Sorry, Ross
Like I
Chastain.
say, from the pits?
Wow, he's good.
Ross Chastain had a super fast short run truck, jumped out to the lead. Um, Immediately, no, I was saying, well, this they had two runs where it was start of stage three and there was a caution in the middle of stage three. Um, the first stint in stage three, he got past pretty quickly, fell like a rock, and then I'm pretty sure there's yellow. He pits, they go back green. This time takes a little bit longer for Heim to get around him, but Heim looks like he's setting sail. Lane Riggs passes Chastain. Um, and then Heim has this issue where his truck keeps cutting off, and Riggs and Chastain are able to pass Heim, and then I think Chastain gets to the lead for a little bit. Heim passes them back. It happens yet again. And I think it happened like 4 or 5 times to him, if I'm not mistaken. But in all of this, Kyle Larson, who self-spun, which I think brought out that caution in stage three, um, runs through the entire field and tracks down Lane Riggs after Corey Heim once again after getting out to a pretty solid lead, loses power, and Kyle Larson tracks down Lane Riggs and in the closing laps passes him for the truck's win. Like I said, I thought this was a pretty good race. The whole Heim losing power thing was, I guess, kind of what made it. Other than that, I think he would have kind of snuck away with it. But yeah, I like this race, but that's kind of all the thoughts I have on it.
I didn't watch it because Jamie Little wasn't calling it.
Did you not really watch it?
No, I didn't watch it at all. I was streaming Phasmophobia at the time.
Damn it, Joe, we have a podcast to make.
I was
Cason.
busy.
Yeah, I didn't watch very much of this either because I was too busy watching college basketball on Friday night. Um,
Yes.
my
You're the
my
truck
entire
guy.
yeah, yeah. Remember, you are the truck guy here. I want
I'm
to.
the I'm the ARCA guy. Joe's the truck guy for Jamie Little, but I guess since Jamie Little wasn't here,
You're a man of many hats.
uh, new hat.
But yeah, didn't watch more than a couple laps of it. Saw Kyle Larson drove through the field. Figured that's how the whole weekend was gonna go. But spoiler for next, the a race I did watch three-fourths of, it didn't happen. Despite being the one race that he dominated this weekend, he didn't win. Honestly, the race was kind of eh. The Xfinity race, I thought it was just Kyle Larson driving around in front of everybody for most of it. Um, until the end when somebody ran out of talent and spun,
Who was
and then
that?
Sam. I think that was Taylor Gray, wasn't it?
Did I
I,
pick him?
um, you picked. No, you won. You picked Sam Mayer.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, you picked the
Uh,
guy who decided to drive through Kyle Larson on the
ah,
restart.
okay. I was jumping a couple days ahead, but I still want to know if I gave the kiss of death to that guy.
You
Um,
might have gave it to Kyle Larson though.
no.
And then we had a kind of entertaining finish actually for parts. That's my whole thoughts.
Joe, did you watch the race?
I watched the last like 50 laps. Then I was like, come on, Brian France, be there. And he was there.
I didn't like get to sit down and watch the race. I was working on the race car, like the Allison car for most of this day. But I was able to listen to it. It was on the speaker while we were working, and I did get to watch the last like the spin out and then the green white checkered. Um, I I don't know. This is a intermediate race with Xfinity cars and Kyle Larson at Homestead. It kind of figured this how this one was going to play out. He lapped, I think, up to sixth place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, and then the other thing that was notable was a certain person having more pit road issues.
oh yeah, Zilich can't.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Pitting is hard, but driving the car faster than everyone else is easy, apparently.
sounds like Kyle. He sounds like Kyle Larson too. Like,
Honestly, that's a really good comparison for him, I think, because they both just do some really dumb stuff. They both also almost spin out like three times a race, I feel like. Um, we're just gonna find out if Connor kind of grows out of it. I will say, not to get ahead of ourselves, but in the Cup race, I think that was the first time I've ever seen Kyle Larson be semi-patient with a finish.
It's because Blaney wasn't there
yeah.
or Hamlin.
Well, him and Hamlin tried to, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I tuned in for the green white checkered, and I just knew that Kyle Larson wasn't going to win that race when the yellow came out. I'm like, there is no way he ends up winning this race after dominating the whole thing. And I'm not a massive fan of Kyle Larson. I don't hate him either, but that was one of those times I felt really bad for him because even after all his luck the day before, that was a race he should have won easy. I mean, like, it was kind of silly. Sam Mayer just screws him up on the start, and I think it was Austin Hill and Allgaier fighting for the win after that. And the finish was pretty solid. The whole race was just, I mean, if I would have watched it on the couch, I probably would have fallen asleep. So it was,
It
but
was an
And
intermediate track in the Xfinity car.
alas. But that's all I have for that race. If you guys want to move on to the Cup race,
maybe
That
it's just the
sounds
maybe they should turn the Miami track into like Kansas. Put that kick out there. For some reason that adds more excitement.
well,
uh maybe they should turn it into a short track, Joe.
My other idea was a roval of some sort.
They
Joe,
go under the water.
Yeah.
Um, I was gonna use that same exact picture, except without the point standings behind it. Because I just went on Google and looked for Homestead Miami, and then I decided to change to this one right before. So sorry, not that was kind of off topic. I just noticed that.
Well, I
But
didn't make it.
no, I mean I know. It was more of I just found it on the internet. I'm like, oh, this looks like a good picture, and then alas. Well, anyways, um, my suggestion for what they do to Homestead because it was a dud this weekend is to just let the fires go on the track while they're racing. So they have to drive through the flames.
Oh, inside the track. I'd say they're already doing that.
Yeah, yeah. No, just put it like just create strips, like see how long the tires can hold up.
So there's a few times watching the race today where I saw smoke. And I was like, oh, someone's spinning out. Nope, just the fire.
All right, well, on to the cup race. Joe again has taken wonderful notes.
Wonderful. Chef's kiss.
They're great notes.
Because nobody sent a note doc or anything about this race, so I made one myself.
Joe had to do it.
It
Cason,
was up to
yeah,
me.
Cason
It's
was sorry.
We're in desperate times if it's up to me.
Yeah, Cason's lacking because his injury. Man watched too much March Madness and blew out his knee.
Yeah, I was inspired by watching LeBron get hurt a couple weeks ago that I decided to also go out and one up him by getting hurt worse than he was hurt.
His PCL is obliterated.
Well, yeah, well,
On to Homestead for
yeah,
the cup race. Stage one. Bowman led. I didn't write it down. Bowman led like the first seven, eight
Six,
laps.
7, I think 7
Yeah.
laps.
Then Blaney took over the rest for stage one. Lap 71, Bell spun out. I know Chris got real happy in his dreams because he was
no,
sleeping.
I saw
He,
this one.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Say he must have sensed it like Spider-Man. Bell spun out coming out of four. He just had a flat tire. Or did he just lose it? I don't really remember.
Um, well, thanks to Fox, we never really quite found out if he had the flat tire before or after he spun out. I would like to say with March Madness going on, I was surprised that I watched this whole race, but that was because Duke was on at the same time and they were just obliterating Baylor, and I don't want to watch Duke obliterate somebody. It's disgusting.
Yeah,
So instead, I watched this race, and yeah, I don't know what happened because Fox never alluded to it. One more little thing I have to say. Was it just me, or did they seem like they just got rid of the side-by-side commercials and it was just full-on commercials for like 70% of the commercials today, Joe?
I switched between the IndyCar when it was actually on, and they did the same
Ah,
thing. It was like no side by side.
yeah, the side-by-side happened, I swear, like 4 or 5 times. Like the amount of times I was looking up as I was grinding away on my work laptop due to having my impending surgery and looking up, and it's just a full-on commercial, and I'm like, well, that's nice.
When I was switching between back and forth. That's how I knew like they put the NASCAR race on Fox for a little bit. Whenever NASCAR went to a commercial that wasn't side by side, I went to the IndyCar race. Then they're like, "Oh, it's time for a commercial." No side by side. I
I
think
was gonna
that
say,
IndyCar did side by side. I think one time.
I think next time that IndyCar and NASCAR are at the same time, Joe, I want you to have like a commercial counter for each time they're on commercial at the same time.
I had my computer with the NASCAR race and my PlayStation with the IndyCar race, so I was able to go back and forth. So I could probably
And it
do it.
was you really helped out those commercial ratings.
I was like, how can I boost them both?
I really love when I go to watch commercials and a race breaks out. Oh,
Anyways,
ah,
Blaney dominates stage one after Bowman led the first few laps. Uh, I put my notable top 10 in stage one. Again, AJ, Barry, and Gregson,
why is Barry there?
because I don't expect him to do good.
He won
I don't,
last week,
so anyone can win a race in this
and I
car.
picked him
Uh,
for our thing, and he won this week for me. It's
but
but he won.
Blaney was up there. And then,
Not for long.
spoiler alert.
Kiss of death, Joe. Kiss of death.
Uh, Actually, I would like to say of those, the most unnotable top 10 of that's AJ, who now owns the highest average finish in the next gen car here.
Oh, I have that written. I didn't have that part written down, but now
Mhm.
he actually has the lead, like for most consecutive top tens in the next gen car at Miami.
Basically, he's the ringer there. He's the ringer of like getting seventh.
All right. Well, I guess on with it, Joe.
All right, stage two. That actually stage two under pits. Joey runs into Barry. At least my eyes. I'm totally putting this on Joey because I don't like him. Uh, Joey runs into Barry. Barry hits Larson, and Joey and Barry spin back into the pit boxes, and they just drive backwards up pit road to get to their spots. Not very far, like 2 spots, so it's nothing really crazy. Then Hocevar stays out. I thought I so when I saw Hocevar stay out, I wrote down that he fell back considerably because I didn't expect him to stay up there. You know, when he fell to seventh.
Not bad.
I was
Yeah,
like, showed me up. All right.
actually, I want to touch on that quick. I thought that was one of the more interesting kind of strategy calls during the race. From my understanding, what Fox told me, basically, so they had that, what was that caution with like seven, eight to go in stage one, Joe, was it? In
Yeah.
the stage, something like this, somewhere like around 10 to go, just a little under 10 to go. So supposedly what happened was Hosafart, he pit with everyone else, was in the back. Did have a bad pit stop, or he just was in the back? I can't remember what happened. He was towards the back. He was
I,
like in 30th.
I think he had a bad pit stop. I think it was either him or it was Haley that when Joey and Barry spun out. No, never mind. That's next. This
No,
stage
I
two. I'm sorry.
say, yeah. So I say something happened with Hosafar, and he was in the back. It might have been his green flag pit stop even too. That something happened on it. Basically he was like in 30th, but they pit with everyone else. And he basically was just driving extremely smooth and really fucking slow around the track. That the rest of that stage one, so he just didn't wear his tires, and I think that's a big reason why he only really lost like what 6, 7 spots for a little bit there.
I did hear when he was out in those 5 laps, not driving very fast. All you could hear on the radio was "Wow, shit!" the the entire time he's driving around.
We're gonna have to pit.
Oh, then all you hear is
Um, I'm gonna be honest. I'm surprised more drivers or more teams didn't take this strategy or the next pit stop take two and just kind of roll the dice to kind of get up front. I was, I thought there'd be more of a, like guys running in the back would take this as an opportunity to jump to the front, but you know, it's stage two. You have time to experiment and see if you can get yourself some track position.
yeah, try something out.
Yeah.
Uh, that lap 126 during pit cycle. Suarez spun out. Chris was sleeping, so Chris saw missed Suarez spin out coming to pit road, which was really weird because they're like, oh, he must have hit it on an angle coming off the track onto the apron and spun out. Nah, he just got real close to pit road and just lost it.
He, Suarez cannot be screwing up pit road because that's the one thing he has over Zilich right now. He
Dude,
can't even do that.
he was driving in a straight line and he braked and spun out.
Happens to the best of us.
Like there was no degree of banking whatsoever there.
But what if he wanted to show Justin Marks that he could pass more cars after his pit road
And
problems?
you know what? He showed it because the other two didn't.
Yeah, another side note on this is, my God, does Trackhouse look not very good so far this year?
Bad.
It
They look slow. They look so slow that they are being outrun on ovals by Ty Dillon in his calling car.
it really screams Dodge in a few years.
It screams Dodge better get here by 2027 or this team's gonna be they're gonna lose Connor to
Yeah, I was about to
Hendricks.
say.
See, they came on strong at the end of last year. They just started off terribly this year.
Yeah, well, that's why I thought they'd run a little better, but like they are literally so slow. It's like they've like relegated themselves to like RCR level speed, it seems like.
At least,
Well, they get RCR engines, don't they?
yeah.
Yeah, except for Austin Dillon was driving his RCR car to the top 10
Yeah,
today.
I woke up and I was like, "What the fuck? Why is Austin Dillon in 10th? Where's Kyle Busch at?"
That's because Pop Pop gave him the better engine.
I think that's what's
Okay,
gonna
what
happen.
what actually happened to Kyle Busch today? Was he just really bad or what? Because they never really talked about that. He just was like in 35th for like the majority of the race that I saw.
He was mid pack for a while, like stage one. Then he went a lap down. He may have had a bad pit stop. Then he was hanging out with SVG like over half the race.
I was gonna
But
say I don't know what happened.
he finished like 21st, so he kind
That
of got
that's
up.
actually pretty good considering I literally think every time I saw him on the thing, he was like 34th, 34th,
Yeah,
33rd, 34th.
him and SVG were hanging out. Uh, Blaney dominates stage two, but he loses to Denny. Who he Denny split the stage in half, and that's how he came back. I looked at one point. Denny was 9 seconds back after pit stops. Then like 15 to go, he was already up there. I was like 30 laps later, you went from 9 seconds to being on Blaney's ass essentially. But
Yeah,
I
I thought
think,
it was because they did that in the first stage too. Larson and Denny did, but they were just
yeah,
so much further back. But it kind of helped them get up into that top 10 region.
I think Denny beat Larson to the line for stage two. I think
Yeah,
that's what happened.
yep. He beat him to the line. They pit around the same time. It was interesting to me how much. Well, they were just extremely faster than anyone else when it was like after about 25 laps. I figured on those runs because
Yeah.
I think they were doing the math in the first stage, and Larson, when he hadn't pit, was only running like about a second to a second and a half slower than Blaney after Blaney had pit and was kind of caught up in some traffic. And that's where I think they just gained so much time is on the old tires. Denny and Larson were so much better than everyone else.
Even when Blaney was on new tires and Larson was on old, like it was what, a second and a
Yeah,
half, maybe a second and
second
a
and a
quarter,
half.
like
Um,
slower. I was like, damn.
yeah, Larson's car I didn't think was that good on new tires, but I felt like he was cooking on when he like was about 20 25 laps in and he was just ripping the wall. But I mean Denny was pretty fast too. They had a pretty entertaining, finish to that stage. Wish that was the finish to the race, but we'll get to there.
So I have this written down like this,
hmm
but I'm pretty sure this happened in stage three when Chase barely taps Blaney on pit road.
That was the start of stage, like the pitting in between
Okay.
stages.
I have it above stage three when it should be under. So I confused myself. And
That's when Chase went from running considerably like latter half a top 10 to way in the back.
yeah. Well, what I have it is Blaney's he's a drama queen to me right now. I like Blaney, but I'm sick of him bitching
He's just
about
like the
That's exactly where I
everything.
am with Blaney.
he's the cool Martin Truex.
Honestly,
I think he's
I
just Martin Truex at this point.
No, no, no. He at least like talks to the media and smiles.
I don't know. Martin Truex likes to blow motors.
See, he's the cool Martin Truex. He gets out of the car and he'll actually grin. Martin Truex was just like, "Yeah, it was a nice top five. I think I want to die."
That shows
Well,
passion, Chris.
I was gonna say 30 years of racing will do that to
I really wish I was fishing right now.
you. With that cool hat that Briscoe was wearing. Ass Pro. I want that hat. On to stage three. Stage two ended when? Like 150 something?
Something. It would have been 160 because it was 80 lap segments, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. Blaney makes it to lap 208. I actually go look at this because I missed it. Then I went back and I was
Mhm.
like, where the hell did he go? Because I saw him on pit road. So I just went all the way back. Blaney blows a motor. What a shame. This is his second blown motor in 3 races
And third DNF this year in 6 races.
already. He's trying to beat his record of 8 or 9.
He might get there.
You know,
Oh,
he's still 10th in points despite all that.
He's okay. The thing
not
with
in real
Blaney, he's
points.
Blaney's done really good in stage racing. He just has his finishes have just been kind of abysmal.
They're like just like his teammate,
Cindric? Logano? Which one?
Logano.
I say
Logano's
all of them?
one spot below him, and Cindric is 21st. So he's in the Cindric spot.
Yeah. I did see a stat before this race that Cindric actually has like the fourth highest average running position this year.
Yes. Yeah, he's been running really well.
It's just, like his two Penske teammates, it doesn't end well. They're too busy, trying to cheat right now so they can put the jet fuel in the motors when it comes time for the playoffs.
They're trying to rig someone's car, make it 17 pounds lighter.
They want to be water racing.
Oh, my arm itches.
Oh, how'd that jet fuel get there? I don't know.
Lap 262, Bowman. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped way far ahead. Uh, Bubba, hang on, I got this right here. Another
Bubba came out of the
page,
pits
another page
because
that I have.
Bubba's pit crew actually was good this week after Blaney blew his tire.
They've
They
been
were they were on top of it.
they've
So
been
lap
here. The mirror.
Bubba
Eh,
was actually leading when Blaney blew up.
yep.
What?
It was Bubba then Larson, I think, then
What?
Yep,
Blaney. Yeah. No, Bubba was what he finished third in stage two, I think.
I can
Oh.
tell you
And because I remember Denny and Larson had to go around him, I do remember. And
Bubba did not get a stage point at all today.
Damn.
I could have swore he's finished like third in stage three, didn't he? He was up there.
Mm, oh, there he is. Sorry, it's just not. He got
Stage two.
two, three. He's got fifth. It looks like
Okay, so he must have faded a little bit there at the end. I just remember it was a big deal when Larson and Denny had to go around him in stage
because
two with like
Cindric
10, 12 to
and
go.
Cindric and Hocevar also got top tens in stage two.
This is like right before House of Ours car went to toast then.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. But yeah, Bubba was leading after they, Blaney blew his motor. Bowman, no, Larson came out second. I don't remember who came out third. Bowman came out fourth, I think, because Bowman kind of split the gap between Larson and someone else who didn't have a good restart behind Bubba. It
So
was
it
pretty
was
wide.
between 213 and 216. Bubba and Bowman swapped it back and forth.
Yeah.
Then and Larson.
I
Then 217, 234, Bubba led.
Yeah, Bubba led and then his car fell off and then Fox just didn't show Bubba getting in the wall and that's because I was like, what? Okay, so like Bowman had been closing like probably a tenth of a second a lap at this point. This is when Chris about woke up from his nap.
I woke up and like 3 laps later, Bubba lost the lead.
Yeah.
You should have stayed asleep.
Say because like Bowman was already like Bowman kind of closed and Bubba drove it back to like a second and a tenth or so. And then Bowman had cut it to like 6/10 of a second, so he was coming regardless. But
Yeah.
then, in true Fox fashion, NASCAR goes to some other battle on the track, just totally ignores the fact that Bubba got in the wall, and that's why Bowman almost mysteriously caught up to him. And then they're like, "Oh, Bowman's going for the lead." After last thing I'd seen was Bowman was like 6/10 of a second back. I'm like, "Holy hell, what happened? How did Bowman get there?" Never talk about it. Don't say anything. It's just, "Oh, Bowman drives by."
That was lap 235.
And then Bowman led, and then Bubba's crew was like, "Oh, he's gonna fade back to
And
us,"
the Bubba's crew was gaslighting him, saying, "Oh yeah, he'll fall back."
You got this. You're fine.
as he was still driving away
And then
by
Fox is
like
not
10.
refuting that.
And then the
Uh,
unfortunate part happened, and Kyle Larson got by Briscoe and Bubba very, very easily.
yeah, like
You can have it.
seamless. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's my ice cream cone. And Bowman, if he would have held on, I would have had to eat my hat, and he didn't. which was good news for me. Because on lap
Yeah,
260, he smacked the wall a little too hard, which wasn't very hard at all.
Jeff Gordon looked upon smiling.
He's like, I'm gonna fire that man.
He's smiling. He's like, thank God we can hire somebody else and keep Chase so he can be the fourth injured car.
let's say to finish up Joe's notes here, Larson won 2/3 of the weekend. Probably would have and should have won all three races this weekend. But don't worry, he gets another chance of that in a few weeks at Bristol, another track
Yeah.
that he's pretty dominant at.
Uh,
Um, Joe, go to your notable top tens now if you'd
yeah,
like.
I was gonna say notable top tens, AJ, Priest, and Haley, because Haley got 10th.
Good job, Haley.
The Rocket Man. And Cason, just before you go on, oof, I on this racingreferences.com, they have the point standings right now. Like
Yeah.
the cut. William Byron leads by 36 points over Larson and Bowman. And in their playoff standings after this race, Corey LaJoy, Chris Buescher, Tyler Reddick. Yes, they haven't updated anything on the playoff points.
I would just like to say a couple things too. Oh, and Justin Haley at top 10. I don't know if we mentioned him or not.
Hmm.
Um, One, Ryan Preece, I think he's the second best driver at RFK right now.
Unfortunately,
There's another driver there who has unfortunately fallen off very hard, and it is very painful to watch as a former Brad fan that he is just not good now.
yeah, he's cooked.
He is running in like 30th every week. It's not good. This is like some Jimmy Johnson level fall off when Jimmy Johnson went to Legacy.
Have we
Yeah.
seen Brad win his last race?
Yeah. Last
Yes.
year at Darlington.
The
You
only way
saw it.
Brad's winning another race is at Talladega or Daytona.
I think he will get one more at one of those
I
tracks or just
I
something.
don't.
I don't think he's gonna, but I think he could.
I also think RFK as a whole right now is pretty down. I mean,
Chris,
what?
you know who's gotten a top 10 like 2 weeks in a row here?
Yeah, he's a bum. He's fine. He got off of luck last week, and this week, they gave him the jet fuel. Um, I mean, Busher is usually pretty quick, and I don't. Where's he at in points?
Oh,
Pretty
he's right
high,
there.
actually.
Ninth.
He's
In
in.
the Winston Cup, he's sixth.
He's
Busher just like you haven't seen him run up front at all, so I think like the speed's kind of missing overall.
Busher's ninth in actual driver points, and Ryan Preece is 16th.
And then Brad's 30th, I think, 29th or 30th.
Brad is in fact 30th. He did pass Riley Herbst today.
Yeah.
And no, he was already ahead of SVG. SVG's down to 33rd in points.
you
I
hate to see it.
But
I'm
guess who SVG's still ahead of?
Ty Dillon.
Ty Gibbs.
Ty Gibbs
Oh,
No, Ty Dillon's actually, where's he at?
right below Austin.
he's in 10th place in the.
Oh no, he's 29th. He is in fact tied with Austin and Hosafar.
Um, you're gonna have to give me through Bristol before I put the fork in Brad for good.
I
I think it's
am
already over.
prematurely putting the fork in Brad.
I'm gonna wait till for the short tracks, and then I'll.
You
I'll
saw his last win last year in that awesome Castrol car, and that was it. I hope you enjoyed it.
I did.
Um, Second point I'd like to make is Mr. John Hunter Nemechek still sitting in 10th place in Winston Cup points. He is doing just enough to hang up there. What's he actually at in points? I
Six,
just had this up.
This is the points that actually matter right here.
Yeah, he's in 18th. I mean, that's still. I'm not gonna lie. If you told me 6 races in that John Hunter Nemechek was in 18th, I figured he would have like won a race or something.
Called you a madman.
Point number three. I see three Hendrick cars, 1, 2, 3, no matter if it's regular points, Winston Cup points, any points you want to look at. I don't see Chase Elliott in the top three, Joe. Why is that?
I want when Chase Elliott isn't on the point standings, I want everyone around to ask, Where's Chase? Where's Poochie?
Unfortunately, we're going to Martinsville, and he's led the most laps there in the next gen car.
He ain't
But
gonna win it.
well, no, not probably not. Not the way he's driving this year. Shout out number three in my point standings, Mirage here. Uh, Mr. Bubba, seventh in points this year. Pretty good start to the year, stage points wise. I feel like his finishes have been like kind of typical where he's been in the past few years, but he's showing a lot more speed. The pit crew is not screwing him over every race, and he's actually getting stage points. As seen by Alex Bowman and Bubba, it's amazing what happens when you get stage points.
Even before this race, NASCAR put something up on Facebook saying people that are in the playoffs right now with that they weren't last year. He was like 25th at this point last year.
Yeah, it's amazing what a year makes and just what getting stage points makes. So when you do have it says two DNFs and only two top tens in six races, it's amazing what happens when you're running up front for stages and winning stages at road courses when
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, hey, I'm gonna get 25th probably around there regardless. Let's win a stage and get some stage points.
As,
So
that
it's like I
25th
get
is actually a
15th.
15th. Yeah.
as much as I love Booty Barker, this is the whole reason he's not on the top of the pit box anymore.
Bring Booty back.
I, he was crew chiefing for Kimmy, not Kimmy, freaking Elio at the 500.
Booty? What?
Yeah, Booty was the crew chief.
For Helio at
Yeah.
Trackhouse?
Oh, Trackhouse. Oh my gosh. True. Fuck. They didn't have an extra car.
Tricon, that's Truex.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
It
was
was
it wasn't Truex. It was
Yeah.
I thought that was Grubb. No, he's still at I do it.
Cole Pern was there.
Yeah, I'm logging off for today.
I think you're talking about Riley Herbst.
No, Herbst has somebody else, but I'm logging off for the day. Screw you guys.
Um, and my final thing I want to talk about in the standings, Ty Gibbs is ass.
Where is he at? Even though you
He
just
is
said it.
still in 34th. He's actually still closer to Cole Custer than he is to SVG, who's the person ahead of him. He's nine behind SVG and he's eight ahead of Cole Custer. Um, yeah. I remember when they're like talking about him, like, oh, this could be the day he turns it around, and that he instantly lost like 7 spots this race. Like, I feel like his confidence is just cooked. They need to go throw him in the Xfinity car for like 5 races so he can go beat up on some Xfinity drivers at like, I don't know, Bristol or something. No, not Bristol. I guess Larson's racing that race. That wouldn't be good.
When I
Go,
was watching this, I saw him at one point in 15th place.
and then he just immediately went to 25th, basically.
Then he was gone.
Yeah, they need to get him in an Xfinity or truck for a few races so he can just go beat up on some people and get some confidence. Because I feel like his confidence is just shot after that playoff run last year where he just was terrible for that end of the playoffs. He went from being up here to like down here so fast, and he's just staying down here.
So at this rate, who finishes higher in the standings? Brad Keselowski or Ty Gibbs?
Probably Ty Gibbs, because I think he's eventually gonna turn it around. I do think my theory still is if he doesn't win by like the end of like mid-May, um, his ceiling is like 10 cup wins. That is
That
what my prediction is. My bold prediction today.
his ceiling
Because
is
it's
Clint Boyer.
well, there's like the stat like if you don't win in your first what is it like 105 or 110 races, the names on that list go from like oh if he doesn't win till race 100, he's probably still okay maybe, but if he doesn't win by like race 110, the names on that list that are actually like really good and not just average drivers drops off a cliff. That's when Alex Bowman becomes his like career ceiling.
He becomes the new Michael Waltrip.
He needs a lot more races for that. Which
Now
would
he'll get there.
what's really funny is he could technically reach that because Gibbs is not like Joe's not going to fire him.
I would
Yeah.
totally fire him.
I would. I wouldn't even hire him. I don't care how good he is. What? Ty Dillon? Come on, you're the better Nepo baby. I like you better.
I mean, standings wise, he is.
Did you call
He
him
is.
a
What?
Nepo baby or a no hope baby.
Nepo.
Oh, they
But
said you're my favorite no hope baby.
Well, there is no hope for Ty Dillon in NASCAR.
uh, and then back to my point about Ty Gibbs and points a few weeks ago I made. Ty Gibbs is almost technically 30 points behind Ty Dillon right now, and he
Oh.
is, let's get the calculators out, my
Yeah,
favorite part of the day.
I think it's 60.
He is currently 62 points behind Ryan Preece for 16th.
Oh my
He's starting
God.
to dig himself a hole here that if he doesn't win, it's going to be hard to get out of. I agree, still a little too early, but if we get to that mid-May mark and he's like 130 points back, we might need to have some serious discussion time. Don't worry, it doesn't get better. He has 5 races in the next gen cup car at Martinsville with an average finish of 21.2.
They
Hope
should,
is lost for him,
they should have put Brandon Jones in the car.
honestly.
Well, we have one more topic left, and Joe, I'm gonna give this one to you.
Oh no, I got a couple. I want to say
Oh,
SBG survived. He was Homestead with and didn't have an issue today. That that's
I'm
that's
gonna call it that.
positive momentum. So what if he ran 34th all day? He didn't crash and he survived and did every lap but one.
I don't understand why they don't have him running like as many Xfinity races as they can.
Well, he's going to later in road courses for
Uh,
junior.
but why not have him run ovals and just
Cars are different.
they're different, but you can at least get a better lay of the land. I don't know.
Nah. Fuck.
Another road course ringer wants to not run road courses but run ovals if he runs cup races.
Put
There you go.
SVG in a truck since they're more similar to the Cup car than
A
they.
Nice truck.
Yeah, have him do it.
Why don't you just throw him in one of the all-star Spire trucks for 6 races?
Seriously,
Oh man, that would be great.
why not?
I mean, they got a lot of race. I mean, if we're throwing Connor Day out there, whatever his name is, for
Who?
15 races.
Also, Cason, how you were like, oh, there's gonna be one Hendrick car up in truck HendrickCars.com truck up in first. The next one's gonna be like, all right, around top 10 or 10,
Yeah,
and then the other one's gonna be in like dead last.
yeah.
For whatever reason, it was Raja this week.
Oh yeah, I did see that. I saw. Is it Connor Day? I can never remember his name,
Yeah,
honestly. I saw he got like 15th. I would be willing to bet he probably ran around 15th the entire race.
yeah.
And yeah, I don't really know what happened to Cruz. I just checked. I remember checking like occasionally when I was watching basketball, like where people were. And he was like, I felt like in 20th to 25th, like a lot of that race.
He was just bad. He just was not fast at all.
Kind
And
of like Chastain today.
if I don't honestly like this year was his year to kind of pick it up and start getting more than his lone win. Um, I don't want to sound the alarm bells on him, but if he doesn't start turning it around, his career path is going to go the way of Truck Series lifer here soon.
Yeah, it's gonna be Connor daytime pretty soon in that HendrickCars.com truck.
Yeah,
I mean, for no reason other than the fact that Kyle Larson just really likes him.
yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, but shout out Frankie Muniz finishing 24th.
Oh, good job.
Yeah,
Big time.
Step in the right direction. Positive momentum.
he,
Championship, here we
Hey,
come.
he's
I'm
beating
also calling
himself.
another shot like 20 years from now, 25 years from now, when this man's running 24th in the truck series.
Is he gonna get a severe head trauma in a actor celebrity truck race or whatever it was that he was in?
He might. We'll just see if he follows another beloved celebrity from TV.
I didn't have to watch Young Sheldon because DCFC was on.
I'm not getting into that.
I watched that instead. No, I didn't. I was streaming.
Um,
Uh,
Frankie did beat Tony though, Tony Breidinger.
that's
So
probably because he's a better driver than she is.
That influencer?
I want to see Frankie in a Tricon truck for one race. See what he can do.
He'd mollywop the field. They're afraid.
He's too powerful.
We have this guy right here, Joey Logano, who still doesn't have a top 10 through 6 races this season.
How does he
He
not?
is the only defending champion to not have a top 10, at least one in 6 races after winning the championship the year before. He's the only guy
You know what's crazy about that? He's 11th in points.
because
Yeah.
he just gets stages.
Hmm.
And you want to know what's even crazier about that? There's in the top 28 in points, because we're gonna leave about 28, 29, 30. They also don't have top tens. The only other drivers without top tens this year are Eric Jones and Michael McDowell. But Michael McDowell's 15th in points too.
Um,
So Joey's stats from last year to this year, average start of 12. That was last year. Now he has an average start of 8.8 so far this year. Last year, a 17.1 average finish, and he wins the championship. You could buckle up for another one because he's got an 18.8 average finish so far this year.
I think literally the only difference between this year and last year for him is he's just getting more stage points, I feel like, than he got last year.
I I don't mind stage racing. I hate how he's gonna win another one.
Not this year, Joe. He can't win
Oh,
one this year.
such
Next year.
bullshit. He is such a
Next year he can win one.
he is such a fraudulent champion, and it's pissing me off.
not to change subjects, but to touch back on Rajah Caruth. Looking at the truck standings, he is 18th right now.
Ooh.
18th, and he is
Ooh.
forward about 33 points out of the final playoff spot.
He's good for a
That's
win, though.
is he?
I think so.
I don't know. The way he's running this year, I don't know.
And Eric Almirola, despite only running 3 of the 6 Xfinity races, would currently be in the playoffs if they allowed part-timers. And because he is ninth in the
Oh,
standing.
just wait till this week when he comes back and wins again because he's going to Martinsville.
Oh, jeez.
That's the biggest gripe I have about the playoff system is I get if a driver misses a race, you don't allow him to get in the playoffs. You know, if he's won one, that's the only reason he makes it in. But if a driver's missed a race and they pointed their way in, they should have a spot in the playoffs. Like that's only fair, right? It doesn't it's more of a detriment. They didn't win their way in, they pointed their way in and they missed a race. Like
Well,
Yeah, this happened to Grant Enfinger a couple years ago, where he ran all but one regular season race and pointed his way in, and they wouldn't let him in the playoffs.
let's not forget that he probably should have 2 wins in 3 races too if he doesn't absolutely just do go full dumbass and was it like 6 to go.
Yeah.
Um Also shout out to we're gonna glaze him some more, Mr. Connor in seventh in Xfinity points there, despite the fact that he has 2 DNFs and just doesn't know how to use pit road. And biggest shout out, Harrison Burton 11th.
Yeah, that's big.
He's killing it. It's almost like it wasn't the driver for that team.
Ooh, all of the call cards are 16th, 17th, and 18th in Xfinity points.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay. That's
Justin's
enough.
been sick, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Josh.
Josh.
Yeah, Josh,
Yeah.
he's been sick.
Well, it doesn't help that he has to let Ty Dillon come hop in the car because he has
Yeah.
pneumonia.
Didn't he finish? Did he finish Saturday?
He finished in Vegas. I don't think he finished this week.
No, he didn't
He
finish it.
didn't finish in Vegas.
Yeah,
No.
I thought he finished this week because I know he was in the car for a while. If he hopped out of it, it had to have been right at the end.
He must have finished it then. Um, and what?
It says driver change to the back.
And yeah, he must have
Maybe.
had Ty Dillon hop back in.
Yeah.
It had to have been at the end though, because it was. I heard him. He was in the race for a while. Let's see.
And my last point I want to make tonight. A few weeks ago, I was called a madman for saying that 4 drivers would win 20 or more races this year.
Oh, yeah, I did put that down there. I was hoping I
You,
didn't. I forgot.
I've said that William Byron, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, and Tyler Reddick would win 20 or more races combined, and we are 6 races in and they have 5 wins. They are on track, even though William Byron's about to fall off in like 3 weeks. But they're on track for this, thanks to Alex Bowman driving into the wall there. Otherwise, they might not be on track.
Are we entering back into the big three era again?
It sounds like it.
Honestly, yes. Maybe make it a big four with Reddick. You're gonna have then you're gonna have drivers who are like I don't know. It's weird for me to say because it's like I think NASCAR as a whole seems more competitive or like better driver talent, like top to bottom. But I think there's just a few drivers that have a few teams that have figured out the car and a few drivers that are just really good in it.
I'm gonna be
And
honest. Sorry, go ahead.
as I say, and Mister, I would have had 50 wins right now if we were still in the old car.
The whole okay, Williams did finish the race.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, the whole appeal for this new car for me was that it's good on the intermediates and it creates parity. We have lost that completely. I mean, it's gone. And if it's just going to be Hendrick and Joe Gibbs dominating, at least make the short tracks good because the intermediates have taken a hit. Las Vegas
Oh,
was sorry.
I was gonna say it's not even. It's technically just really one of the Gibbs cars for sure. Hamlin seems to have be starting to heat up a little from where he was, and I guess Briscoe hasn't been bad.
He's been
He's
doing
been
good.
solid. He's what is he in? 13th in points, yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah,
It's
He's been
just
doing good since that big points day.
does help things.
I'm kind of disgusted that we're gonna be going to Martinsville and Bristol and they're gonna both kind of probably be ass unless there's like a miracle like it was at the spring Bristol race last year with the tire issue. Um,
Yeah, I fully expect a Hendrick or Gibbs car to win both of those unless Ryan Blaney doesn't blow up. That's about the only hope. It'll, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty evident the best teams are by far Hendrick, Gibbs slash 2311 kind of being other Gibbs at this point.
Yeah.
let's
Um, and then a drop off and then Penske and then a drop off after Penske.
let's just dissolve Hendrick and Joe Gibbs.
Well, when they get rid of the charters, it's going to happen because they have the
That,
most to lose.
Yeah.
that's after the lawsuit.
Yeah.
The second lawsuit that
Yes.
the coming one that's gonna, do that.
I can't wait for the new race series where it's just Gibbs and Hendrick cars and they don't allow Penske in.
It's
It's
all
gonna be no.
HendrickCars.com.
Here's an idea I have. It's gonna be a sporting thing, okay, Chris?
Okay.
The racing side of it's going to be Hendrick and Gibbs. The other side of it's going to be the Big Ten and SEC. They're going to combine forces to make their own sporting league.
I
Oh,
don't follow football. Is this an actual thing that's going to happen?
Oh yeah, the Big Ten and SEC are going to break away in all college sports within 10 years probably
yeah.
and
Oh,
make their own. There's not going to be any of these other leagues with them in any sport probably.
It,
is that good?
no,
No.
they're
No.
gonna
That is going to kill
ruin college
everything.
sports. Yeah.
If they just do it with football, I
No.
wouldn't love it, but it's by far a better option than if they do it with everything, but they're gonna do it with everything.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Just fuck Greg Sankey and whoever the Big Ten commissioner is because they're single-handedly ruining college sports. The whole realignment thing. I'm not going to go on a long tangent about this, but the whole realignment where we have like freaking Oregon and Washington over in the Big Ten, and we have like Cal and Stanford over in the ACC is disgusting. And conferences should be capped at like 14 teams. These mega conferences are again ruining rivalries and ruining what makes college football, particularly for me, so interesting and so good.
And we're about to get the one mega conference.
Yeah.
Do you run a radio station in Detroit, by the way, Chris?
Uh-huh. No, I definitely don't.
You sound like the guy on the radio saying, "How about the Big Ten and SEC piss off somewhere and leave the rest of us alone?"
Well, that's about to happen. And
We just,
then,
sorry.
oh, you keep going, Chris.
No, I was just gonna say something stupid. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, Joe, when you think of the Atlantic coast of America,
Atlantic. All right. East side.
do
I
you
think
think of a traditional rivalry of Stanford versus Cal in the Atlantic Coast Conference?
I think UCLA versus Arizona. Right? Right?
Nope.
No, they're actually in
Oh
separate conferences now.
shit. UCLA versus Ohio State.
That is a conference rivalry now.
Ah,
So
yes.
is Rutgers versus USC. New Jersey Rutgers versus USC. Maryland Washington. It's
I
gonna
think
be like
I
Alex
think
Bowman and
Hawaii.
Christopher Bell being rivals in their own new race league.
I think Hawaii versus what school is the guy that said I'm a man, I'm 40.
What'd you say?
He says I'm a man, I'm 40.
Oh,
Well,
Oklahoma State.
yeah, I think Hawaii
Uh,
versus Oklahoma State when I think Atlanta Coast Conference.
Atlanta Coast Conference.
Whatever. I don't watch football.
I mean, that makes as
Go
much
Duff
sense as the
Man.
leagues do. But yeah,
Duff man.
um, I do have kind of a bad feeling that if we get lawsuit part two, which is way too premature to say that we might end up with this. Not in this exact way, but like similar because it kind of, or just we're about to end up with that like that in regardless if Penske doesn't stop blowing engines and crashing.
Say hello to Champ Car.
Well,
I can't wait to watch Ross Chastain and Michael McDowell continue their battle for 15th in points the rest of the year.
all right, guys. Well, you guys have any closing topics, thoughts, opinions, rants, raves?
It's not going to get better next week at Martinsville.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is this uh title gonna be like good or is it gonna be bad?
Um,
Like I want it to be wholesome homestead, like it's a good old track.
I like Wholesome Homestead. Maybe Sweet Dreams at Miami.
Whatever sounds like it was a good race and not doom and gloom.
What?
Like Fantastic Phoenix, like that was a good one.
Wait, wasn't the last one good?
I don't know.
Not melatonin at Miami.
Oh, that's an even better one. I like melatonin.
Las Vegas, it's Barry's time to shine. That
Oh,
was
see that was a good one.
yeah. See, I got more positive, Joe.
Ah,
Christopher
got
Bell stopped pointing, and I got positive. Um, I will say, while I was sleeping, my dream involved this like I don't know. My dreams are like a whole acid trip. There was this dirt track outside that I had to rebuild and get ready, but the whole time the race is on in the background. So like I I just kept hearing Denny Hamlin's name like over and over, and I guess it makes sense because he did win stage two.
He didn't show up until the end of stage two.
I don't know. For whatever reason, like, oh, Denny Hamlin, Denny Hamlin. Like, what the fuck? Anyways, I'm gonna try to stay awake for the next race.
Have fun with that at Martinsville.
I hope your next stream is about young Sheldon.
Well, Joe, I'm racing Saturday, so I will not be able to watch Young Sheldon.
I'll tell you about it.
Thank you. All right. Well, I'm done with whatever I have to talk about,
I got nothing.
Joe.
Uh, look forward to beautiful Martinsville, and it won't be boring at all.
Magnificent.
400 laps, right?
Yeah,
All right.
magnificent Martinsville. All right.
Magical Martinsville.
Um, everyone, rate us on Spotify, give us a like on YouTube, or don't, because I've kind of forgot to upload the the previews on YouTube the last 2 weeks.
You'll get to it.
I've gotten the recaps, but the previews just kind of fucked me up for whatever reason. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. We appreciate y'all. Bye.